Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast,
your go-to destination for a unique blend of recovery and discovery.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Mark. And in this podcast, we will endeavor to create a safe and uplifting space for our guests and listeners to share their stories with sincerity and a touch of humor.
Remember, we are not a Glum Lot. The Glum Lot Podcast is more than just a source of entertainment. It's a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, recovery is possible. Every story we share carries the power to inspire positive change.
So buckle up, get ready to listen, and join us in discovering the strength that lies within every individual's journey. This is the Glum Lot Podcast, where humor meets hope. All right, Brett, welcome to episode number 82 of the Glum Lot Podcast.
Again, I always feel so welcome. Thank you.
82.
82, my
yeah,
God.
And we want to remind our listeners to check us out on Facebook, our Facebook group, the Glum Lot Podcast Facebook group. And if you'd like to contact us, you can email us at theglumlotpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes,
right.
please. And of course, if you know anybody that would have a good story that somebody may relate to, please let us know.
Yep. You got a topic for today?
I do. Yeah, it's more of a situation. You know, I had
this sounds juicy.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, my wife had seen.
My wife.
She saw a Facebook post from somebody that she used to do like middle school theater with. It was like the local town thing they had, and during the summers, and so naturally, you know, they had been Facebook friends, and she saw there was a post stating that I'm going to have to just take a break a while from my friends, and I have decided to spend some time on myself, and I'm an alcoholic, essentially, right? So that piqued her interest.
Public declaration.
Yeah, it really was, right? And that's before the rooms, and that was pretty crazy. So naturally, she reached out and said, well, I know somebody that you might get along with, and, well, that was moi.
Yes.
And so we had our first little meeting, first conversations, and I've got to say, you know, this kid, he's not a kid, but that's what I call him, and he jumped in with both feet, like right from day one.
Man, that's so good.
And what's really good about it is just in, not even 2 weeks, he's already going to sober functions. He's been to a Christmas party thing that he was invited to. He's been to a meeting every day, right? And he went and saw you guys today, I find out.
Yeah, I was playing out with the sober band, the Ponytail James Band, www.ponytailjames.com.
Shameless plug.
And we were playing at a benefit, and the guy walked in, and I was like, oh, dude, so good to see you, and, you know, whatever. And I said, how much time you got now? He goes, 13 days today.
Yeah.
13 days.
Right.
But, yeah, he is a guy who just latched right on to the people.
Well, he made a decision.
Yeah.
That he was going to do
right.
And he had the willingness to do some of the things that we suggested, and he surrendered everything and just said, I'm going to give this a shot.
And you know what? We get a lot of people that are dabblers.
Yeah.
They want to come in and see what it's about. Maybe they want to quit drinking for a little bit. Maybe they think they're going to learn how to drink, you know, better.
Right. You know, my favorite phrase with that is the people that sit there in denial aisle, and they call them sneakers, loafers, and slippers. And sometimes that's exactly what they become. Yeah. Right? You know, and he's just not that.
Yeah,
and it's
good,
crazy,
good.
you know.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
One day at a time,
far,
but he's off on the right foot.
It is.
But anyways, we have a guest with us today that I know is going to be quite interesting for everyone.
Yeah.
And she comes to us by way of
me,
Brett.
Yeah,
yes,
essentially. You know, Katie.
Went to grade school.
I just said her name.
Went to grade school with her.
Yeah, so guess what? Her name's Katie, because I just said that. But,
well, then let's welcome her. Let's welcome Katie.
Yeah, we'll get into the story. Yeah, welcome, Katie.
Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast, Katie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So glad to have you with us. And can you start with your sobriety date?
My sobriety date would be March 9th, 2023.
Okay, beautiful.
Awesome.
And we like to rewind it back to your first experience with drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, like all the details.
Well, honestly, I don't remember the exact date. Like, throughout high school, I would drink every once in a while, but there was no, like
social stuff.
It was social stuff. Yeah. It wasn't anything that, I mean, I did, you know, we had some fun times, but it was nothing to the point where, you know, I needed to do it and continue to do it. So I would say within my high school years.
It's pretty normal, though, right?
Yeah. It was, I would describe it as normal.
Smoking weed, too?
Every once in a while I tried that, but that just is not for me.
Yeah.
But
you weren't like a big partier.
No, I was social. I was at all the high school things, and, I was...
Right. But there was no sign of anything odd, right?
No.
It's not like you drank once and you're like, oh, my God, this is fantastic. I'm doing this every day.
No.
Nothing like that.
And it wasn't anything that was like, oh, my God, that was really terrible, or, man, I really got screwed up, or anything like that. That just came as time went on.
I can say that sometimes the people I surrounded myself with, that maybe was because if we wanted to, maybe get the booze or something, we would hang out with a certain group of people. So that would be a choice that I would definitely say, not a good choice.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
But nothing that was impacting me daily.
Okay.
So at some point, so you graduate from high school. Mm-hmm. Everything's cool. You go to college?
Yes.
Everything fine with your drinking in college, or did it ramp up?
No, college, it was, Thursday, Friday, we usually took a day off on the weekends,
Yeah.
But it was like if Wednesday night was the cheaper drinks, we'd go out Wednesday, or we,
Yeah.
Very normal.
Yes.
I think back then Mark was able to get 10 of them for $1 or something.
That's right.
Like that.
I remember 10-cent draft night.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember some
It was
of
on
those
a
nights, too.
Monday. Mm-hmm. We used to call it Monday night at the fights, because the fights, it would be insane. And I was 15. I was underage at the time.
Oh, wow.
Boy.
So the cops had come in the front door, and we'd go out the back door.
Right.
But yeah, it was nuts. So at some point along the line, something changed for you with alcohol, right? Can you talk about that?
So, I did the college thing, and, I graduated and went on to get my master's, and,
Nice.
I would be the social drinker, and I had, a large network of friends here and other places that I lived. And, we'd go out on the weekends. And then as I got older, I was, into my career. My career was really my focus. And as I, got into my 30s, I started, because this is really like, I wanted to start having children.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got married?
No,
okay.
we haven't. We're still together, but no, we didn't get married.
Okay. Sure.
Aren't you new age?
No. But so it was social drinking, and then I had my twins, and as soon as they were born, within months, I had picked up a drink, and that one drink went into just 6 years, because I did have some sobriety in that. So like a total of 6.5, 7 years of just daily drinking.
Was
Interesting.
there a switch that flipped after you had the twins?
Well,
Sorry. With the effects of alcohol on you?
I think the first couple times, because I did have postpartum. I was later in life. I had a career. Yeah. This is all new to me.
Sure.
And, just biological things with women, after you have a child, that with alcohol, it just is a different mix. So, yeah, I would say initially, yes.
Okay.
That's really interesting. So that little bit of postpartum depression was relieved by the buzz of alcohol. And you're like, well, this works. I'll do this.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
But then it took on a life of its own.
Yes. Yes.
So you started drinking alcoholically, if you look back on it?
Absolutely. I was, I'm not proud of this description, but, I don't feel that I'm certainly not alone when I say that.
No.
I was in the laundry room doing laundry and drinking wine.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Did your significant other notice a change in you?
Fairly quickly.
Yeah. Did he bring it up and say, what are you doing here?
Not right away. It didn't take long, but it definitely was brought to light. And
was it obvious to you too? You're like, geez, I'm drinking every day. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Not enough to stop you, of course, but
no.
But you did notice it?
I did. I would say to myself, driving home from work, like, can I just not go to the liquor store?
Yeah.
Can I, I would
I
do
did
the,
that too.
Dialogue.
I did
yeah,
that.
Me
yeah.
too.
you
I
know,
always lost.
I would do that self-talk,
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
to myself, like, you can do this, and it just,
Yeah,
Alcohol
there
won
wasn't
the-
a motivation
won
speech
it.
that I could give to myself. It
No.
would really change that on the way
No,
home
I never stood a
sometimes.
chance. I told myself I did.
Oh, right.
But I'd be just like
Especially
you.
in the
I'd be
morning.
driving home and say, "Don't go to happy hour. Just go home. You can do this." And I'd feel that defeat, and the wheel would turn, and I'd start telling myself the story that it's not that bad, and big deal. So you go, you'll do it tomorrow.
It's that
always
peculiar
some-
mental twist, right?
It really is,
Yeah.
man. And and then you'd say, "All right, well, I'm just gonna have one drink." Then 4 drinks later, you'd be like, "Shit, what happened?"
yeah.
And it was on the daily.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad.
And so it's a progressive disease, as we know. How did yours progress?
It progressed significantly right from the first
pretty
From the
quickly.
get-go.
Yes, from the first time I picked up after I had my kids. Yeah.
Was there any of this in, family or any in the lineage?
Absolutely. It is within my family.
Oh, okay.
And, for many years I said, I'll never be like,
Oh,
whoever,
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We tell
Sure.
ourselves that, and for a long time I thought, I escaped it,
Right.
but it's always there. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter your
yeah.
age,
Right.
So
it was dormantly waiting for you.
Yeah, right.
Waiting to spring.
Doing those push-ups, as they
waiting
say.
to spring like a puma.
and it did.
Yeah.
It did.
So you're drinking on the daily, and you're raising toddlers at this point,
Oh,
right?
my God, that had to
Twins,
be fun.
you say?
Twins.
I have twins, too. They're lovely.
Yes.
And
Spectacular.
did it get to the point where it was becoming a problem in the way you functioned? Or were you trying to manage that?
I was trying to manage it. Because I was working still, and I had, my twins, and, socially, I wasn't really going out socially because I was a new mom.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. So that's where I was able to kind of stay,
Under the radar.
What was your style of drinking? Like, I was a maintenance drinker, so I did get blackout drunk sometimes, but for the most part, I just wanted to maintain
The effect.
a buzz.
Yeah.
What was your?
I had everything. I honestly can say that I did. I think in the beginning it was maintenance, but as each time I would try to stop and go back out, when they say the progressive disease, absolutely. I mean, then it got to the point where it was, the blackout.
Did there come a time when you thought, I got to do something about this? Like, just in your own mind?
No, I didn't.
Nice.
I didn't say that. No.
Yeah.
Was there no repercussions yet, except for your significant other saying, "What are you doing?"
Well, finally, the significant other talks to my family, which then
Damn it.
everybody, it's not a secret. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
It's not a secret anymore.
Sure.
So, I actually ended up getting very sick, and it was because of I ended up in the hospital because I wanted to stop drinking. It was that point. I wanted to stop. And I went to one of my doctors, the woman that delivered my kids. And, I mean, this is incredible, but I went in with her with my aunt, and I told her what was going on. And we talked about the postpartum and everything. And she stopped everything she was doing and took me up to Krause.
Oh, wow.
And brought me directly to the floor.
That's a local hospital.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It happens.
And it was all it's just a miracle, one of many miracles. But so that's where it started with getting help that I needed.
So was there an evaluation with that, or what was that involving? Just right into care?
That was the first time that they realized that my liver was struggling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you go into the hospital for a detox?
Initially, it was for that and to figure out what was going on with me because
Okay.
I was sick.
Yeah, you were
So
feeling
did you
like
have
trash.
symptoms of liver disease at the time?
At the time, not liver disease, fatty liver, high enzymes, and just my the big stomach and just
Yeah.
The CDs type
yes.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very early in recovery, my doctor said I had fatty liver. Mm-hmm. He said, "Yeah, I did your numbers. You have fatty liver." I said, "You have fatty liver." That was a stupid thing to say to me. I said, "Well, I just quit drinking like 6 months ago." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Well, yeah, that's probably a good thing." Mm-hmm. And I told him about my father had cirrhosis and died, and he's like, "You're doing the right thing here, dude."
Well, at least you were honest.
Keep
because
an eye
when
on
I
it.
was told that I was starting to have symptoms of fatty liver, I was like, "Well, look at me. No wonder." Right?
I've got fatty
I'm
everything.
eating a lot of shit. That's all it is because I'm certainly not drinking.
The doctor
anything.
told me I had a fatty stomach.
Yeah, right.
I was like, yeah,
and
no
it was just
kidding.
manifesting through my skin, I guess.
Yeah.
But.
So you go up there and you get this. It's kind of like a warning, right? Like, this is what's happening. You got to do something about this.
Yes.
And of course, they say you got to stop drinking.
Yes.
And how did you respond to that?
I didn't listen, and I just went and continued to drink until.
Because in your mind,
I'm not that bad.
Right.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
right?
But then, I did still have those thoughts like, no, I think I'm pretty bad. But
Yeah.
I continued to do it, and then it got to the point where I was just in and out of the hospital. It wasn't liver related. It was just other sicknesses I was getting because my immune system was just so shot.
Okay.
So it was finally I get into the hospital for this other illness that I had, and I wasn't getting better from it because I kept drinking.
Oh, okay.
So it got to the point then where it was made, my doctors and my family came to me and, they suggested that I go to rehab. So I went to rehab.
Okay, you were receptive to it.
Was this a formal event?
No.
No.
It was just a conversation. It was, yeah.
And you probably weren't surprised, right?
No,
It's
knowing
like,
my family.
like
and
the shit is going down.
Yeah.
This disease offers quite a conundrum because if you're diagnosed with cancer, they're like, you have cancer, and you say, let's treat this.
Quicker the better.
And you give it everything you got. They say, you have alcoholism and it's affecting your liver and your immune system. You're like, yeah,
But
and then it's because everybody knows it's the disease that tells you don't have a disease.
Right.
And that's the component of it that is so baffling for people. And it was for me, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
everybody that
Of
has,
course.
we're
of
like,
course. I mean, I was aware that something was going on, but it wasn't bad enough to make me change. That's for darn sure.
so
Another day is not going to hurt.
That's right. I'll
And
do
then
it.
another day
I'll
is
do
not
it
going to
tomorrow.
hurt. And then another day is
Yes,
not going to hurt.
we are living one day at a time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that day is
The
tomorrow.
wrong way.
It's true.
The day is tomorrow.
It's very true how it works.
Yeah.
It really
And
does.
so you go to this rehab, right? You check in. You go to detox at the rehab.
No, because I had just come from the hospital. I was
Okay.
so I hadn't been drinking.
So you're in a 28-day or?
Yes.
Okay. So you go into the rehab and you start the program. Are you receptive?
Well, it's an interesting situation.
Was it program based as far as we know it? Like 12-step? Was it part of that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It
All
was
right.
not 12-step.
Okay.
And see, what it was this rehab was actually based on a certain model. And the reason why I'm saying this, it was actually a model that I did in regards to my career.
Okay.
So as though,
Scientifically based?
yes,
Okay, like smart
evidence-based.
recovery type stuff?
It was DBT.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh, tell me, I don't know what this is.
Dialectical behavior
Behavior.
therapy, I believe is what
Yes.
it is.
Dialectical.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't it? So that was just part of what my job, the realm of what my job I was able to do and I did with people that I worked with. So it was a little different for me because everything that they were doing, I had been trained on too. So I'm sitting.
Yeah.
You were no stranger to
And
it.
you were
No.
smart to them, right?
Yeah. So they didn't pick on me very
There you
often
go.
for
Yeah.
discussion. So, but I did get the names. What did it? Because I was there was this name. Because I only drank wine, and when you're in rehab, you're with.
Would that word be wino?
It was.
Or did they church it up?
It was Sophisticated Kate.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yes, Sophisticated
I love it.
Kate. 'Cause
Yeah.
The wine, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, wine's just as bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to drink a lot
Yeah,
of wine.
Mark
too.
liked wine.
I did. Used to drink it by the bottle.
it was good
yes.
for it was good for my heart.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I've read.
Oh,
I read
yes.
an article that said
The
1 glass of
antioxidants.
wine is good. So imagine what 9 can do.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
how us. We have to improve on everything, don't we?
So you do this DBT, which is new to me, but can you tell us a little bit about what it is, how it works?
It really looks, from my experiences, like what the triggers are, and it's more of a it's not just on the addiction itself. It goes into the behaviors, your reactions, your like your system.
Your thinking?
Yeah, your thinking, but also your systems within, like your family, your
Relationships. Yeah.
It covers everything.
And there's
Okay.
a lot of dialogue around it, right?
A lot of
kind of like
communication.
kind of like in a meeting, similar.
Okay. Do they hone in on the fact that you have a disease, or isn't it? That's not the model.
Well, they didn't with me. When
Okay.
I say I didn't get. I mean, I was with a great group of people, like
Sure.
an amazing group of people, and the staff there was amazing. But I did not take anything new away from that.
Okay. So are you there for 4 weeks?
Yes.
And so you get out. Is there an aftercare plan?
No.
Oops.
No meetings.
They
no.
didn't even write me a case plan.
Ay, ay, ay.
So you get out and you're just like there. You're like, hey, you're cured. Get out of here now.
Throw open the doors and
They actually wanted me to go to one of our local outpatient places around here, and I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
But that just was even worse.
Was it a DBT program follow up
No.
specifically to that, or was it just psychotherapy
It was like group work.
group work? Okay.
Like-
with other people. That, yeah.
So they just tousled your hair and said, "Get out of here, you little scamp. You're all better now."
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you last?
So that was April, end of May, beginning of June.
Okay. So 30 days or whatever, you stayed clean and then let me ask
On
you
willpower.
this. Let me ask you this
Yes.
though. Can you walk us through the breakdown of how you came back to the drink? Like what thoughts did you have? Like did you bullshit yourself at first going, I feel like I'm going to drink, but I probably won't. And then before you know it, you're drinking, or how did that work?
Or can you even quantify it how it happened?
I can just say that I got out of rehab. When I got home from rehab, it wasn't all that great. I wasn't back to, what I thought I should be. So I was still in that, teetering. I was definitely teetering.
Yeah.
And I was honestly going down one day. I had to do something downtown in the city. And I just stopped and got a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just like that.
Just like
no
that.
big deal.
No big deal.
Nothing went through your mind like, holy shit,
No.
I'm failing. I'm not supposed to do this. It was
No.
just like, I went through that, whatever. Never even
how
thought about
baffling that is.
No,
right?
I didn't.
it. All right. And
Yeah.
so are you right back in it? You picked up right where you left off?
Yes.
Did your significant other notice right away?
Right away. Everyone did. Mhm.
Did they say, what are you doing? You just went to rehab for this.
They tried to.
Yeah.
I didn't make communication very easy.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Isolated a bit?
I isolated. I tried to hide. I tried to, I wasn't. And when they would talk to me, the instant offensiveness,
Yeah.
Oh,
your
right.
fault, blame.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
as we talked
Sure.
about in our meetings, blame, when we're drinking.
Divert.
Yeah. And so I was great at that. I was really good at that.
We are good like
yeah.
that.
Oh,
I got to say.
yeah.
Alcoholics be good like that.
Well, we
Yeah.
got to protect it,
Yeah.
right? We got to protect it at all costs.
So how long did this go on for?
So that went on until May 2018.
Is that years? Went on for years?
So it
Oh.
went on. So 2000. So I went in 2017. Then I came out in May of 2017. Drank right up until like maybe April, May of the following.
So for about a year you were back out?
Yes.
Did it progress further during that time?
Yes.
Were there other repercussions,
Yeah, I was just
legal
gonna
and
ask.
or family relationship?
Family. I mean, definitely my relationship. I mean, he went through a lot. My mom, my dad, my sister, everyone went through quite a bit. With worry and,
Of course.
I mean, it was difficult.
How was it with the kid, like raising the kids when you're battling this thing?
I just, I tried to be the best mom that I could.
Yeah.
Even, and this is difficult to say, but even though I was taking that sip, I was always thinking about my kids, that I had to be a good mom. I had to be a good mom. Sure. But I still took that sip.
Yeah.
And it's where it's so tricky.
I know, and people can say, well, I guess you loved it more than you loved your kids. Mm-hmm. That's not really true, but we have a disease. Mm-hmm. It doesn't allow us to make that decision. It just
Especially
doesn't.
after a certain point.
Yeah, we just don't have a choice.
No.
So something came to a head again, right?
Something came to a head again. I knew my relationship was not going to continue, and my family was just at the point where they didn't know what else to do with me. So at that time, I had moved out and I was staying with my sister, but I wasn't drinking. So I was sober then, and I was still very involved in my kid's life, and I ended up being sober for 18 months.
Just cold turkey on your own?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, I did have a therapist.
Okay.
But yeah, so I stayed for 18 months until the next.
Something funny is I could never do that, and to me, I think it might be a blessing, because if I could have stayed dry on my own, it probably would have taken me longer, because I would have said to myself, see, you didn't drink for 18 months. You're not an alcoholic.
Right.
You just enjoy drinking. And it would have just waylaid my sobriety for years. And who knows who the hell I would have took down with me, So you are clean for 18 months until you're not.
And I should say, I did attempt AA meetings throughout. I was attempting AA meetings.
Okay.
But I just...
How'd you find out about those?
Those were... I had always known about them just from my, family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where that originated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'd actually gone to an Al-Anon meeting years ago for one of my family members.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then it was just topic of conversation sometimes, about AA. And I was very clear, I knew what it was. Yeah. But now it was time for me. So each time I would go in, I wouldn't stick around. Getting drunk or staying sober, I was never consistently going to meetings.
Mm-hmm. Did you just not connect in there?
I did not have a connection. The first meetings I went to, I didn't feel comfortable in those meetings, and I didn't.
Just wasn't for you.
I was getting a bad taste. Bad taste, and but I also I can see myself. That was me.
Yeah, you weren't ready.
Right. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't ready.
Okay, so you're bouncing in and out a little bit, still drinking, and does there come a time where a decision has to be made by you as to which way you're going to go? If you're going to try to get well, or you're just going to...
Well, after the 18 months, I did go back out until so I ended up going back out, and that just got worse.
Oh, yeah.
Worse and worse.
I'm sure.
But after the 18 months, I should say, I got my liver to be normal.
So
I'm healthy after these 18 months, like my liver is.
Right, because it does. Yeah, it's one of
your
those few organs that can regenerate.
They can recover. So you go back to the doctor, you get your numbers, and they say, you know what, your liver recovered. Mm-hmm. You stopped drinking. They know that, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you did good.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, I think I'll go out and drink again.
Well, no. No, I didn't do that. But no, because I stayed sober throughout, my liver getting better. But then, in September, it was September, I remember exactly. I had a lot going on in my life. And, for years I've always thought, okay, I can cope. Because I've had stuff happen in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, people, I've always thought that I've coped with things. I've dealt with things and done really well. And I didn't have to pick up a drink while I was going through whatever I was going through in life. And then I get hit with, this isn't a life-altering, situation. This isn't, no one's going to die. It's just something that really affects me and my emotions. And so I end up relapsing and drinking again. And then I'm out. I'm gone.
So,
right, you're out.
I'm
so
out.
a little backstory here of how, we know each other. So when I when we were kids, we both went to the same elementary school. I was there from K through 5 until I moved away, but I remember Katie very well from those days. And then this is the weird part. I saw Katie again, and I was working for a bank out, local area around here. And I specifically remember, and I'm wondering if maybe this was the time that you're about to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I worked at that bank, I remember seeing you come in, right? Cash check, head over to the liquor store, head back, head home, rinse, repeat. And the funny part of this is that's probably when I was most active myself.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I had to see that every day and face it for myself every day. And my God, maybe I wasn't, I know I wasn't at the worst yet, but boy, was there a lot of discussion in my head every time I saw that, right? And so, this is a big deal for me to see you in here now, and we'll get to that whole story. But, that was a big part of my journey as far as the discussion that started with me on I should probably start looking at this was when, so I appreciate it because that is a big turning point, point in my life where I realized that I probably got a problem. Right. And that's where I'm headed, and it's probably not the idol you want to be, right? But let me tell you, that's pretty cool.
Anything, because I welcome anything from anybody, and I hope, I'm an inspiration or something to someone, But yeah, that was the worst.
Okay.
That was my worst. I mean, I was bad, but those times were...
Okay, so this is after that period of sobriety, and we're... Okay, perfect.
And so where does it go from here? So you're falling down the depths of hell at this point, right?
Yes. It was bad. I mean, at this time, I'm not drinking wine anymore because I couldn't afford the foofy wine anymore, So I had to, I had to go to the little bottles of vodka.
Okay.
That was me.
It was tricky. I was playing a big game because I got to hide everything.
Right.
That was probably my most stressful day in my head, like where are they hidden, things like that. So that's what my life was consisting of.
Yeah.
And, everyone was, I think, with my significant other and my family, they didn't know what to do, but they weren't enabling me. They were trying to help, and it wasn't something they were okay with.
Sure.
So, everyone was trying to encourage me and work with me and throwing out all different kinds of options. And, AA was the first, again, rehab, things like that. But so it just kept going, and it was very rocky.
Did you resolve to this was going to be just you?
No. No,
okay.
I didn't. And maybe that's what saved me,
is
saving me. But no, I don't know.
So something happened that changed.
Yes.
What was that?
So I remember this in 2022. I was working and I was driving home and I was so sick. I was so sick.
Sure.
And it was just a different kind of sick. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And then, I went to my doctors. And I was avoiding doctors when I went back out.
Of course.
Because I didn't want to have to look my doctors in the face and say, hey, So as soon as I went back to those doctors, I was told, you need to connect with Strong. We're going to get you an appointment because you have cirrhosis of the liver.
Oh, my God.
And
right.
Strong is a big hospital up in our area.
No, it's a very good program for multiple different
And so
things.
you have active cirrhosis at this point, right? Your numbers are bad, your liver numbers?
Yes. I mean, it took a couple months to I had to have different tests done to determine, but yes.
So your liver, due to your drinking, is starting to fail.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did this shake you?
Yeah. It was scary.
Right. You're young, and this is a death sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. So you go to the hospital. What do they say to you?
So I do all of the tests.
First of all, do you stop drinking that day?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't drink, but I progressively got more sick because with liver failure, cirrhosis, there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it. It's not just the liver So there was different things going on with me. So I was hospitalized probably every other month for like 3 to 5 days every time I would go in. So I wasn't drinking then.
And this is because your liver is failing to filter out
which affects
the
other
harmful
organs.
stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my father one time, when his liver was failing, my mother called me up and she said, "You got to get over here right now because your father is retarded." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "He's acting like he's retarded." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Just get over here." And I got over there, and he couldn't speak. He couldn't focus. He couldn't move right. It was ammonia intoxication. Apparently, your body naturally produces ammonia, and your liver filters that out. His was not doing it, and it gets into your brain, and it starts shutting your brain down.
Yeah.
We took him to the hospital, incapacitated. They put him on an IV of something, and like 10 minutes later, he's like, "What happened?" It was crazy.
That's me.
That's what yours was ammonia intoxication?
So I wasn't drinking, and then March, when I took that last drink, I ended up, because throughout this time too, I lost a lot of weight.
Sure.
So I was malnourished, and I had to go to the doctors, and they had to assist me with that, and that's when I was. So once I went to the doctors, and they told me that I need to eat a lot of protein. So I came home, and I hadn't had a drink in like 3 months when this happened, and one night I went to bed. I wasn't feeling great, and I was doing my protein. I was doing what I needed to do. The next morning, apparently, I woke up, didn't know the day, didn't know my name, didn't know where I was.
Right, it got into your brain.
It had gotten to my brain like that, and I was rushed to the hospital again, and they were going to put me in ICU because you can die. I mean, it's a deadly, and I didn't really know how severe it could get, know.
Now, how old are you at this point?
This was 20, so I'm 49 now, so I was about to turn 48.
Yeah, so you're young. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people that are alcoholic and drink until the day they die at 90.
Right.
And there are people like my father who was diagnosed with cirrhosis at 53.
Yeah.
And you at 40
something.
Yeah, 47.
So everybody's different. Eventually it will affect your physical health, for sure. Some people, it gets to their brain first. They get wet brain before their body even starts shutting down. Yep. So you are kind of going in and out of the hospital with all these problems. And did they start suggesting a route of fixing this?
Yes. So it was finally it was suggested that, if I didn't get a new liver, then life expectancy was 5 years. So I was able to get on the list. So once I got on the list, you have to be, and it's unfortunate to say this, but you have to have higher numbers and be more sick in order to get on.
You have to be a good candidate, but sick enough to get one. And that's probably a real sweet spot, right? Did you meet that?
Well, I got onto the list because it was right after the ammonia. So it has like little check marks. If you got this. Yeah. But then once I got on the list, I just got healthy because I wasn't drinking. I didn't pick up again.
A little bit of a physical rebound.
Yes. I just got healthier, and I wasn't in the hospital as much as I had been. It was very rare, I was going to all my appointments. I was doing everything, and I was starting to feel good. Yeah. I mean, I have some effect. I will have a lifetime effect. It's neuropathy. It's the numbness of your legs and your hands. I mean, that's not going away. But, yeah.
So since you started getting healthy, were you less of a candidate?
Yes.
See, I tell you something strange. My father, of course, had this transplant a long time ago when it was not super common, I don't think. But I said to one of the people at the hospital when my father was being flown down to Pittsburgh to get his liver, I go, how did this happen? And he goes, I'll be honest with you, your father has really good insurance. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh,
so they got a guy who could pay for it. And they were like, that moves you up the list because we need to make some kind of money.
Wow.
But I was like, that's crazy,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it was shocking, and I don't know if it's still that way or not.
That way now.
But anyway, so you're kind of getting better, getting worse, getting better, getting worse, but it's taken you further down the list.
Yes.
Okay.
So as I get healthier, the farther down on the list you go with the points. And which was good, but it was the question, because I wasn't 100%. I wasn't still, what I could be at my age. And, I wasn't able to do so much, and I was tired and all of these different things. But for a transplant, someone who is looking to get a transplant, it was someone that wasn't like me. It was because I was doing so well. Yeah. So, it was just April 4th, 2024. And I'm actually taking my daughter to Girl Scouts, and it's 6:30 on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And there's a phone call, and I'm like, why is Strong calling? Why is the hospital calling me right now? And I pick it up, and then the woman on the other end says, is this, Katie? And I said, yes. And she said, well, we have a liver for you. We think, we can't say 100%, but is there something that you would like to do?
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, I was just going to Girl Scouts.
Can we just get to Girl Scouts first?
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah, that's a strange phone call.
Yeah, it was.
Let me ask you this, though. During this time when you're in medical crisis, how is your thinking about drinking and your urge to consume alcohol?
Especially when you start getting better.
I thought about it, but I didn't. Okay. I thought about alcohol. I didn't think about picking it up.
Sure.
And, this is the way that I look at it is, it's one day at a time, but I was telling myself if I picked up that drink, I could tell you what my future was. I knew
death.
It was death.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty certain at this point.
It was certain. And that's all I needed to, and think about my kids.
Yeah.
Did you pursue any kind of AA or any kind of help during this period for the mental part of it?
I did some Zooms, and then I talked to other people within AA, but I wasn't going to meetings because I was sick.
Yeah.
So I wasn't I knew I had been in and out of there, so I knew what I needed to do as far as AA, as far as my steps, and the powerlessness. I still couldn't say it then. I still couldn't say it.
No shit.
Wow.
I still couldn't. As sick as I was and as scary as I was, I still could not let that come out of my mouth.
Right.
Even though I didn't pick up, I still just, I didn't say it.
Yep.
Didn't.
So you go and get the liver.
Yeah, so finally, it's back and forth for a couple of days, but then finally on the 4th, I go in and they say, okay, it's a go.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a miracle.
So you get the liver, you come out of surgery. Your recovery is good?
Amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was going to meetings with it a week after.
Yeah, I remember seeing Facebook posts not long after. I was like, because I'm still keeping tabs, of course.
Yeah.
So you get this liver and you start going to meetings.
Right away.
Now, what changed your mind about going to meetings once you got this liver? You're like, okay, I got to build a new life for myself. I can't fuck this thing up.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, pretty much it was that. It was like this disease has had a hold of me for way too long. And, because for a while there, when you're in the depths of the disease and that drinking, I don't know how it is for everyone, but for myself, second guessing your higher power is something that I did often because why? Why me?
Right.
So, but after that transplant, it was
a whole new understanding.
It really was because
Yeah.
I was only there because of him, because of my higher power.
Right. Yep.
Nothing. I mean, I
Right.
did what I was expected of me with my doctors and lived a healthier life to allow me to get
So
there.
the grace of the universe puts you there. It's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? Are you going to do the right thing? And so you decided this is what I have to do.
Yes.
So you start going to meetings. You get a sponsor?
I didn't for a while. I mean, well, it's been like 8 months.
Yeah.
So now I talk to one woman. So, but I don't know if she's going to be my sponsor, but
She's your temporary sponsor.
Yeah, I do have someone that I reach out to.
Okay, good. You start working the steps?
Yes. And it's hard because I did the third step is something I feel like I did before I said I was powerless.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
Yeah, I just...
Well, that makes the third step a little easier.
It sure does. Yeah, some people come in with it.
Yeah, right. No problem.
Yeah. So I think once I realized, it was definitely my higher power. And
so did you start exploring that side of things a little more ever since?
Yes. Yeah. I have, I was...
Or has that always been in your life?
It's always been in my life.
Okay.
I was confirmed, all of that, you know.
You're raised Catholic?
Yes, raised Catholic. So, yeah. And my family, my family is much more, religious and everything. But, as far as myself, the meetings are what keep me connected to my higher power. Sure. And I don't know, when I go throughout my days and I think about my higher power and my connection with them, I really see it as though, it's because of, and it's because of those rooms, that I don't lose sight of that. It is a constant reminder when I pull my car in, because I'm able to drive, and, when I get out and put that dollar in there, things like just small things.
Oh, sure.
It's part of your gratitude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard for me. The gratitude is so huge right now for me.
It's huge for all of us.
Yeah.
It's hard to,
I can't even talk on that topic. I can't.
It's hard not to take things for granted.
It is.
And when you don't, you feel better and you feel more grounded and you feel like you're a little more in reality. And when you take those things for granted.
At peace.
Yeah, when you take those things for granted, your ego slips in and takes over, and you start thinking about what you don't have. Why does this guy? You start comparing. Why do they have this and I don't?
Yeah.
And all that shit. When you don't, when you take the gratitude, you're like, I have enough, and that's great. That's a way to live.
It's so much easier.
is.
It's an easier, softer way, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is. So you, how's your health now?
My health, I'm doing well. I had one hiccup where something wasn't working, so I had to have a minor surgery. But my doctors are just so amazed.
Liver's good.
Liver's good.
Not rejecting.
Everything it's going great. Really is.
And we talked a little bit before the podcast, and you were telling me that you connected with the people whose family you got the liver from.
Yes. So the mother of the 18-year-old sent me a letter, and it's all, anonymous. You don't know. The hospital deals with all of that, but she wrote me a letter within 2 months.
Wow.
So, I think it was part of her healing, to try and connect with.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
Oh,
it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I get teary-eyed now.
Yeah, of course.
He was 18. He was graduating. That stuff. That's with gratitude. It's that is just tugs at me. But I was able to write her back, and I know I can say in words what she has done for me. Well, no, actually, I can't. And I did say that. I can't really describe what she did because...
Right, but you can give her a sense of how grateful you are.
Yes, how grateful I am. Yes. And I'm a mom. I'm allowed to be here for my kids now. Just so much. And eventually, we want to meet up and
That's
connect.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an organ donor. And, when I look at it, I'm like, I want somebody to benefit from, whatever I leave, and if they take anything you want. I'm not going to use it once I'm dead.
Right.
But you can give somebody else a second chance at life, and it's pretty huge. And this is a good example of that.
Organ donation is amazing because you're right. You just give someone a second chance on so much.
Mm-hmm. And as medicine progresses, they get better and better at it. When my father had his, it was still kind of iffy, and he only lasted 3 years. But I know it's been 30 years. They've made great strides. In the way it's done and the anti-rejection medications and all that stuff. So it's a pretty huge thing. But is there any advice you'd give to a young mom who finds themselves facing what you faced?
Just that it's okay. It is, it is okay. And it's okay to acknowledge, like, you know what, I might not have full control. And the control thing for new moms, because I can speak for myself, was a huge thing. And I wasn't willing to let go of that control, and just letting moms know that, it is okay to ease up on the control. With life when you're a first-time mom.
Yeah, I think young mothers put a lot of pressure on themselves.
Oh, heck yeah. Trying to make everything perfect.
Yep, and a lot of that is they are looking into the future saying, how I don't want to screw this up.
And then you got postpartum, which is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Postpartum, and that's just another thing too. Is like the postpartum, as I'm going through everything have gone through. Doing my research, and postpartum is huge. You hear of many women with postpartum that go right to alcohol.
Sure,
it's their go-to.
Yep, and for let me speak for the young dads. I'm not young, but I am a dad. But I was a young dad once.
Well, sure.
Always check in and do as much as you can, and be sensitive to the fact that there's things that you can't see that can have an effect on your wife.
Absolutely.
So just be aware and sympathetic. So
nice job on that.
Yeah.
So, and I guess one thing more I want to say is just it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
It is okay to just ask for help.
Right. In a world that tells us to figure it out, all this self-help stuff, it's okay.
Right. Everybody needs some help sometime. I don't care who you are, how much money you have, how successful you are. Everyone needs help at some time.
And there's a group of people that want to help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a
so grateful that you're still here with us. And we get to
it's awesome.
We get to talk about that. That's just amazing to me. So
till next time on the Glum Lot Podcast, I'm Mark.
I'm Brett.
I'm Katie.
As we wrap up another episode of the Glum Lot Podcast, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who tuned in today. Navigating the path to recovery from alcohol and other substances is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. Remember, we're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're here to provide a safe space for open conversations about the complexities of recovery. Your stories, courage, and resilience inspire us and our listeners alike. If you or someone you know is on the transformative journey, know that you're not alone. Join us next time as we continue to explore the diverse facets of recovery. Until then, stay strong, stay connected, and remember that each day is a step towards a brighter, sober tomorrow. Thank you for being part of the Glum Lot community.